Hello, and thank you for watching this video. Today we are going to learn how to turn any fraction into a percentage. We will start with something like 3/5, and I'll show you how to turn it into 60%. Then we will get progressively more challenging with 11/20 into a percentage of 55%. And then lastly, we'll learn how to turn something like 5/6 into a percentage of 83.3%. Alright, so the first key point to consider is this. Try to convert the fraction to an equivalent fraction with 100 at the bottom, if possible. So in this case we can do that because 5 is a factor of 100. So what I need to do is work out what did I times 5 by to make 100, and that was times by 20. So I need to do the same to the top. Times by 20 equals 60. Then, this is very important, anything with 100 at the bottom means the same as a percentage. So 60 over 100 is the same as 60%. So that means that any fraction that is has a factor of 100 at the bottom, for example 3/4, 5/20, 2/10, we can make that in a percentage just by turning the bottom fractions into 100 as equivalent fractions. But what if the denominator is not a factor of 100, I hear you ask? Okay, good question. This time we're going to have to turn a fraction into a decimal using division. So, if I have something like this, 5/6, we know that 6 is not a factor of 100. It does not go in a whole number of times. So, I have to make this into a division of how many 6's go into 5? It goes 0 times. So then I have to line up my decimal points in the bus shelter, write 3 or 4 zeros, and start carrying. So 6 into 50, so I've carried the 5 over, goes 8 times. 6 8s are 48, so remainder 2. That goes on to the next 0. 6 into 20, go 3 times. 3 6s are 18, so that's a remainder of 2. 6 into 20 go 3 times again, and we're going to get the same pattern repeating itself. So my answer is going to be 0.833 recurring. This will help us turn it into a percentage, because from here all we need to do is multiply by 100, which means moving a decimal place 2 places to the right, like so. So 0.833 recurring, times it by 100. This decimal place will move 2 places to the right and go in between there. So my answer is 83.3. Put a dot above the 3%. Okay, so now have a go yourselves. There are 3 questions here for you to turn these fractions into percentages. Pause the video, have a go, and then I will tell you what the answers are afterwards. Okay, so 4/5. I'm going to look at that 5 at the bottom and think, is that a factor of 100? Yes, it is. I've multiplied it by 20, so do the same to the top. 4 times 20 equals 80, and 80 over 100 is the same thing as 80%. Next one, 13/20. Is 20 a factor of 100? Yes, it is. So I write my fraction over 100. 20 goes into 100 5 times. So then I times the 13 by 5 as well, and I get 65 over 100, which is the same thing as 65%. And lastly, 7/8. I know 8 is not a factor of 100. So I'm going to have to do some division. 8 into 7. I'm going to write 7.0, add in my zeros now. 8 into 7 don't go, carry the 7 over. 8 into 70 go 8 times. 8 times 8 is 64, so remainder 6. 8 into 60 goes 7 times. 7 8 to 56, remainder 4. 8 into 40 go 5 times. So my answer is 0.875. Then you have to turn that decimal into a percentage by multiplying by 100, moving the decimal place 2 places to the right. So my answer is 87.5%. Excellent if you got those 3 correct. Okay, so let's see if we can make this a little bit more challenging for you. Next question is this. Can you convert this fraction into a percentage? You can use any method used that I've shown you before, either equivalent fractions or some division, to turn this big a fraction into a percentage. Pause the video, have a go, and then we will compare answers afterwards. Okay then, let's see how you did. There's obviously a few different methods that you could use here. I will just show you one of them. So what I'd like to do, ideally, is to make this fraction a fraction over 100. But that's not going to work. I can't divide the top number by 5. So the other method I'm going to use is to double both fractions, top and bottom, so both numerator and denominator, and turn the 5,000 into 10,000, and the 4,856, double that to make 9,712. So now I need to remove these 2 zeros here. So I have to divide the top and the bottom to make my fraction over 100. So dividing the top by 100, that means the decimal place essentially gets moved from the very end into the middle. So I get 97.12 over, divide 10,000 by 100, I take away those 2 zeros, and that is the same as 97.12%. Excellent work. If you got that correct, well done. Not easy at all. And so if you understood how to convert fractions into percentages, you can have a look at also turning decimals into fractions, decimals into percentages, and percentages into decimals. Some of the other videos that are available. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.